Analysis.
How you doing, guys, and welcome to another episode of Analysis. We've got Jaron Boots Ennis versus David Avanesyan. Now, if we go back previously, Boots was fighting on Showtime, and Showtime affiliated to the PBC. Well, then Showtime pulled out of boxing and the PBC were left with no broadcaster. They signed a deal with Amazon Prime. Amazon are not putting anything into the PBC. So they were supposed to schedule their first fight back in, I think it was 14th of March. And then from then on, bring out their schedule. Well, that never happened. Boots Ennis left them and he's now signed with Matchroom, and he's fighting in his hometown. And originally he was supposed to be fighting Coley Crowley. That fight's pulled off, and now at 5 weeks notice he's fighting David Avanesyan, and that's going to be the main event. Now on that card we've also got Sky Nicoldon. She's fighting on the undercard, and she's fighting VDyana Vargos. And the co-main event is Jilil Hacket versus Peter Dobson. Now, if you remember, Peter Dobson, he fought Conor Benn. He was a lot bigger than Ben for the weight. Ben had moved up, and it was a very good fight. Well, anyway, let's look a bit further into Jaron Boots Ennis versus David Avanesyan. Let's look at the tail of the tape. Ennis, age 27, Avanesyan 35. Ennis 5'10", Avanesyan is 5'8". 74 inch for Ennis, 68 for Avanesyan. Ennis undefeated, Avanesyan 30 fights, 4 losses. Jaron Ennis, 28 of his 31 fights have been by KO. David Avanesyan, 18 of his wins have been by KO out of his 30 fights. Now with Sky Nicoldon, if we take a look at the undercard, she's had 10 fights and she's unbeaten in those 10 fights, and she's currently the WBC featherweight champion, and she's going to be fighting Vdyana Vargos. Now, she's had 19 fights and she's had 1 defeat. So that's the record. Vargos has had the more fights, but she's going to be more of a pressure fighter, while Nicolson, she likes to use the ring. But in this fight, she's saying she's going to surprise people, and she's more than just a defensive fighter and counter puncher. She can do everything, and she promises to show us a bit of that in this fight. So we'll see on Saturday. Now, the co-main event, Jilil Hacket, he's unbeaten. He's had 8 fights, and he's a prospect, and he's newly signed to Matchroom. So this is his debut performance on a Boots Ennis main event, and he's co-main event, and he's going to be fighting Peter Dobson. Now, Peter Dobson, he fought Conor Benn, and in that fight he gave a good count of himself, but he didn't put the pressure on where it was needed. I don't know whether it was because he wasn't unable to from the pressure with Ben, or at that particular time he just didn't have the confidence within himself. But he did put on a pretty decent display at times within that fight. So the press conference was quite funny. Them two were having trash talk between each other, and it went on for some time. So on the head-to-head, Hacket he put his hands in Pete Dobson's face and pushed him, and they were separated by security. So these fights promise to be good. Well, anyway, guys, that's it from me. Peace. I'm out of here. Hey guys, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.